society. Mara mingi tumeambiwa hiyo mnyamazie kidogo tu. Ama mzoee. Hiyo lazima mzoee, nyinyi ni wasichana. Everyone goes through that. Tonight we discuss about something and we dissect it clearly, purely, and we get to have a conversation on sexual harassment. What is it? What defines what sexual harassment is? Ni stories za jaba ama ni reality kwa ground? Here on the Z Manifesto, tunasema asanteni sana na karibu. I am your host, Charlotte Kibet. As we dissect this particular topic, I am joined by an amazing panel and an amazing audience, so we will be able to talk about it. Please join us on all our social media platforms at K24+. Tafadhali, usiachwe nyuma, because this needs your attention, this needs your statements, this needs your comments. We cannot be able to shut up about something that 1 in 5 young women experience every single day. And we shall not stop there, because this is not just a topic ya wanawake. Men go through this as well. And here, even on the audience, we have a man, we have men who have come. Na pia watatupea statements yao. We would like to see and hear the statements from both genders. Is it true? Is it stories ajaba? Or should we just ignore it because it is a topic that is too sensitive? So the question of the day today is, wewe kama Gen Z, have you experienced sexual harassment? So, question of the day, wewe kama Gen Z, have you experienced sexual harassment? And tonight I am joined by 2 amazing women. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and we are so special and excited to have you tonight. Na mumengara sana. Tunashukuru sana. I am joined tonight by Sumaya Ruguru. Sumaya, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
We are so excited to have you. Mary Gishuki, asanteni sana for coming tonight. I would like to give you just the microphone, Sumaya, just very short. Would you like to tell us what you do exactly so that the audience can know?
Okay, thank you so much for the warm welcome. So I'm Sumaya Ruguru. I am a lawyer, and I'm also a certified SRHR advocate, and I run an organization called Sumaya Foundation. So since 2021, we've been dedicated to providing comprehensive support to survivors of gender-based violence and sexual gender-based violence. Our focus extends beyond crisis intervention to include prevention, education, and advocacy. We also strive to address the underlying societal norms that perpetuate these forms of violence.
Thank you so much, Sumaya. Yes. Mary, I'd like to jump in very quick. What you do, what is your bio? Who is Mary, and why is it important for this particular topic?
Okay, my name is Meru Anjiru Gichuki. I'm part of Campus Me Too movement, which is a Pan-African movement seeking to end sexual harassment from staff to students in campus. I'm also an SRHR youth advocate, very passionate about SRHR, and part of Comprehensive Sexual Education Task Force. And in my other life, I'm very passionate about youth and governance, but that's a story for another day.
Asante sana. Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Sumaya. We are so grateful to have you. Wakili, asante sana kwa kungara hivi jamani. I'd like to ask the audience that is here, before we just jump into the questions, just a yes or no, raise your hand. How many of you here have actually experienced sexual harassment? Mkono juu. So, thank you. So we have seen that, right? I'd like to ask a question to you, Sumaya, and be very specific. What is the definition of sexual harassment in itself? Okay. What is it?
So sexual harassment can be, sexual harassment comprises of 3 main aspects. So the first one is unwanted sexual comments or advances directed towards a person's sexuality, or body, or clothing.
Yes.
The second one is unwanted fondling or grouping.
Yes.
And the third one is sexual coercion and and boundary pushing. And I would like to highlight that, with respect to the last point,
yes,
force doesn't necessarily mean physical pressure.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's intimidation, it's threats, it's manipulation. All these things sum up to
what sexual harassment is particularly. So hata ile matatu,
yes,
mtu anakuambia ingia, ina ukikataa ina change
some
to
verbal advances.
wesi size yangu.
Yes.
So how does that equate to the matatu? You know, it does not make sense, right?
Sure.
Yes. Mary, what is sexual harassment in itself, in your definition, and even with your work that you have done so far? What is it?
I'll add to what Sumia has said. As sexual harassment, it's unwanted and unwarranted comments or anything towards someone that makes someone
important that consent should be sought. We also have things like doxing. You see, that is paramount, especially in the streets. Pia, you see the catcalling. So I, as a lady in Kenya, and every lady in Kenya in this room has experienced sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, every lady in Kenya and in this room has experienced sexual harassment. Now, we want to go to the guy. Mic. Sexual harassment, that is the topic that tunaongelelea leo. But vile tumesema, from the boys' perspective, it looks different. Has it occurred to you?
Personally, hapana, nikiangalia.
Bado uja experience? Ama uli experience alafu ukaangalia ni kama ni bonga points niongezeka, sinda? Oh, so uliona hivyo?
I think kwa wanaume inakaanga ka tu ni something fun. But ukiangalia deeply ndo naona inakaa harassing. By
So ukiangalia hivyo deeply unaona nika usha experience yo
labda sana kai chini kabisa ndo ni confirm, but first side hapana.
But uko na watu wenye wa share experience, maybe umeinteract na watu mabedhi wa share experience sexual harassment, just not hapa kwa room peke yake?
Yeah.
Okay.
A boy kwanza.
A boy. Experience yake ilikuwa usitaje jina, of course.
Yes, usitaja, but
alifanywa nini?
Okay, hiyo ilikuwa nika abuse, ilikuwa sodomization, but
sad. Okay. Wacha nikuja hapa mbele. Kindly take your mic. Yes. Jina tuanze na jina. Tamara Amani. Yeah. Tamara Amani, conversation yetu of course vile umesikia tunaongelea sexual harassment. Wewe ushai experience sexual harassment. Charlotte alikuwa na mention, by the way, ukitembelea kwa streets unapata mtu anakugraba na kuambia by the way lazima uingie matatu, kuna catcalling. Wewe ume experience gani?
Like someone forcing you to do something that you're not into, like someone forcing you to give him a hug, and then yeah.
So hugs the innocent way of saying by the way hi, have a it.
Yeah, it's if you have refused and he insists, then that's a sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line? How does somebody look at you and say, by the way, I don't need to cross this particular line, akishasema hivi na nafani retract and say by the way watch and take a step back?
Si ukikataa umekataa, unakuwa mkali.
Unasema no is a no.
Yeah.
Koko, kindly just take the mic. Pass the mic kindly. Let me start with your name.
I'm Yvonne Mwangi.
Yvonne Mwangi.
Yes.
Yvonne Mwangi, of course, have you experienced sexual harassment? Tumeanza tukisema by the way kila dem kwa hii room ni kama experience sexual harassment.
Yes, definitely.
What was the worst thing that happened?
I don't know which one I can say, but
ni mingi.
Ni mingi, kusema ukweli. Okay. Kuna hiyo catcalling. Kuna hiyo catcalling, kuna zenye zote wamesema, but I have this memory when I was a young girl, maybe 10 years old at most, whereby a shamba boy lured me into a secretive place in the garden. I didn't know much then, but I had that basic knowledge of being told in class, maybe don't follow strangers. If a stranger that does this, you can be raped and stuff like that. And I remember he lied to me that my grandmother wanted to get some arrowroot, so my grandmother had asked him to escort me. And by the time we reached there, his intentions were not the same. Adi alikuwa anatumia Kikuyu, alikuwa anasema tuigwe wega, like in Kikuyu that means let's feel nice. And by then I did recognize it's part of what we, at most 10.
Wow.
At most 10 years old. And that guy, the one thing that saved me was because I had speed and I just ran off. Yeah.
Okay, Yvonne, with that, we want to take a break. But before that, let me just take you through the question of the day. The question of the day we are asking you, of course, it is, have you ever experienced sexual harassment as a Gen Z? Wewe kama Gen Z, have you ever experienced sexual harassment? Ama wewe kama Gen Z, ushai experience sexual harassment? Kindly engage us on our socials at K24TV and our WhatsApp number. That is 0757 257 058. 0757 0757-058. Tunataka kusikia unasema nini kuhusiana na hii conversation we are having tonight around sexual harassment, especially among the young people, the Gen Z. Kama kwa street fanya catcalling, kama mtu grab indecently, kama ulikuwa mtoi mtu akakuforce, especially kwa maboys, because tumeona such comments on our social platforms. Kindly engage us. We take a break. We'll be back in a few.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Ooh, wase! Iko on! Kila game ina mata. Reconnect now. Dial *423#.
Hihi wina kĩũria kana woni wĩgiĩ ũmemerekia wa Kameme TV? Twandĩkĩre woni waku kũhĩtũkĩra Facebook @Kameme TV Kenya, X @Kameme TV Kenya, na twandĩkĩre email kũhĩtũkĩra info@mediamax.co.ke. Kameme TV, mũthĩgi wa rũrĩrĩ.
Why wait for fun? K24.digital brings you 24/7 entertainment. From the pitch to the playlist, from celebrity gossip to the memes you love. We're not just news, we're your non-stop ticket to everything cool and trending. So get in the know. K24.digital. Follow the buzz 247. True understanding requires more than a headline. The People Daily app delivers our trusted in-depth journalism directly to you. Get comprehensive reporting, insightful political analyses and special features optimized for your life on the go. Get the stories that deserve your attention wherever you are. The People Daily app. News that moves with you.
Kama invite yangu haikufika on time, but I'm glad to be here anyway.
She was my rival. My competitor. We need to shut this business down.
Hii biashara ndo kila kitu kwenye hii familia. Nikufe ama nisikufe.
Kama mbaya, mbaya.
Wewe ni mnoma sana.
One truth can break everything.
Sit tight.
Hihi wina kĩũria kana woni wĩgiĩ ũmemerekia wa Kameme TV? Twandĩkĩre woni waku kũhĩtũkĩra Facebook @Kameme TV Kenya, X @Kameme TV Kenya, na twandĩkĩre email kũhĩtũkĩra info@mediamax.co.ke. Kameme TV, mũthĩgi wa rũrĩrĩ. Kwĩragwo rwĩmbo nĩ ndawa ya mahĩndĩ. Kameme TV twĩkũra tabarĩra ya Jumatatu.
#AfroMonday,
#SocialMonday.
Show me a jigger, let me see, and let me see the woman that is with.
Nĩguo wa kerĩ tũkĩrĩ na moko-inĩ ma nyene thĩinĩ wa kanitha wa Rĩrĩmbũka. Wa gatatũ nĩ Reggae Kaboom. Wa kana
TBT Thursday.
#TBT Thursday. Naguo wa gatano tugenekeria kiumia na Cocktail Friday.
Tumekuja kuslide kwa weekend yako Insta.
Shemani na Wajiko James aka Gordon Pineapple, Mena Moch aka Kamasta. Ni Jumatatu ginyagia wa gatano thaa 10 cia hwaini ginyagia thinacara cia hwaini.
Welcome back to the Gen Z Manifesto, and it's such an honor that we get to have so many perspectives, so many comments, and so many statements about this particular conversation. So to question of the day, which has been and we continue to have, is wewe kama Gen Z, ushawahi experience sexual harassment? Have you ever experienced sexual harassment? What is sexual harassment in itself? We have some feedback of all our social media platforms on K24+, and if you allow me, I'd like to be more personal with you, is the fact that we can see that, yes, Mimi, a boda rider back in the day, my client alinitumia parcel, all of a sudden alikuwa amevaa night dress. Then ilikuwa transparent, then she actually started to touch my chest. Ilibidi niondoke. This is literally mtu wa boda. Amesema, mtu alikuja na night dress akasema ndio huyo. Ikabidi nimuondoke. That is Jeffrey. Asante sana. Mike anasema mimi ni mumama. Mumama. Alinishika the private parts kwa kibanda ya mpira. Jamani. Mike, pole. Acha nikwambie tu pole, but thank you for being open with us. Alikushika, I am so sorry. Mike, Debrighty, asanti sana for sharing that. Luvato Nasha anasema ile nilimwekea katikati ya madem pale primary school na ile harassment sijaona dunia hii. Our next statement pale wanasema ya kwamba Brian Ocheng is saying, naweza kumbuka siku moja bibi yangu alini rape nikiwa mlevi. Hiyo ni sexual harassment. Hiyo ni ukweli, right? Because we have said sexual harassment in itself si tu mtu wa nje. It can, as our wakili here has said, that sexual harassment goes even with partners, right? And I love that we've been given statements by men themselves ya kwamba wamesema pia huyu alirepiwa na bibi yake. I mean, how often do we hear that? And when we hear that men have been raped, people laugh. And it's not a laughing matter. Like, it's genuinely, it's not a laughing matter. So Wakili, thank you so much again for coming here. Wakili Sumaya, I'd really like to ask you a particular question is, what does the law say about sexual harassment? Are we protected by this beautiful 2010 constitution of ours?
Yes, well, the law actually has strict boundaries regarding sexual harassment. And not only is it immoral, but it is deeply unconstitutional. So from Article 27, 28, and 29, it speaks on the right to dignity, right to personal security. And also, aside from that, we also have the Sexual Offences Act, the Penal Code. Yeah, these acts actually criminalize sexual harassment that leads to sexual assault. And also we have the Employment Act in places of work, which actually places the responsibility on the employer, not only to make sure that haifanyiki kazini, but also to report it.
Yeah. So let me ask you and just jump right in. Unasema law ina to protect. So mimi kama Charlotte nikitembea tao, right? Mtu anishike mkono na msichana karibu hapa. Unajua ama nimeona na mwingine karibu abebe. She was so light. I felt so bad for her. So what do we do at this particular moment? Mimi kama Charlotte, can I be able to go report it? Can I sue this person, and even if it's suable, nasuija watu jamani, unajua? So what happens in that scenario, live scenario, unatembea tao, someone grabs you, someone holds you, what do you do? Do you shout, unampiga? What happens at this particular moment?
The right procedure is obviously to go and report. And I'll come back to you, let me just answer.
Please do, yes.
Well, the problem is not the lack of, the lack of law, but the access and the enforcement, and even survivor-centered programs or systems, because most times the survivors are not really considered. Because for example, the law says when you get assaulted or harassed, first of all you go and report. After reporting, you have to go to the hospital, you get a P3 form, you come back to the police station, then the police have to go and arrest that person. You see, there's too much back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah, and in a place like town, you'd see someone, you go report to Kirudi, you never see that person again. You see? So the problem is there's a lack of survivor-centered systems. That's the problem. And even access to justice. And even another example, it is quite costly to get justice. So you can ask yourself, like, what happens when the cost of accessing justice is higher than the cost of being silenced. You can't really blame a survivor if they choose to just be silent. No wonder most people, when they get groped in public or catcalled, they just choose to brush it off and just go on about their day. Because now you start thinking, if I report, I have to go, I pay lawyer, nini. Yeah, it's a long process. Yeah.
So do you think at this particular moment, because I think we have to put this in plain sight and to be very, very aggressive at this particular topic, is that even from the audience, saa zingine mtu akikushika tao, it spoils your entire day. Unaanza tu kufikiria jamani, huyu mtu na mikono zake chafu alijaribu, unajua, or he just becomes very aggressive towards this particular, ama kutusi, ama shame your body, you know, it messes your entire day. I want to ask you, Mary, and your work in campus, sindio, university. If this happens in university, sitao, uni mse najua, cosmate wangu, unajua, ama tunafanya same unit and whatever. What happens in this particular situation, and even with your work that you have done with Campaign Me Too movement in universities, what are some of the examples you have seen? Like real examples. Not tumeona rape. Kama men have been raped by their wives.
True.
Sasa wewe shule umeona nini?
Okay. I'll start by the mechanism. I believe I was in KU, and a school like KU, we had the gender place where you can go and report when you are sexually harassed. If it's by a fellow student, the only tricky part ilikuwa inakuja if it's a lecturer, like it was like untethered grounds. But if it's a fellow student, there are those mechanisms, and university have had them for, for a long time. I'll give an example, but it's not my own personal example. But I know someone who did not graduate with the class they were supposed to graduate just because of one unit. Because a lecturer from first year told them, I want you. And this lecturer didn't leave tracks. You know, there is the way they text you, call, and anything. For him, he used to do the harassment in person.
So
the first time she failed, he told her, if you don't give in, you'll never graduate, because I'm the only lecturer teaching this unit.
And just to interrupt you there, when you talk about lecturers, what is one word you can say to any lecturer who is watching? Amubaba, amuze, or even women who sexually harass young men as well in school. What is something you could say very quick before we jump to the next question? What would you say to these people who are sexually harassing children of their age mates?
It's a quid pro quo, like it's a power dynamic.
Of course.
At one point, even if it's the student who approaches you at whatever level, you have code of conduct. You are the power there. So it's a power dynamic thing. Because you see, there are those who say, oh, they approached me, they did this. You are supposed to guide them. Why are you taking advantage of them? You're supposed to be the one molding the future. So that's not an excuse. And there are very many other people outside there you can interact with. Nobody is asking you about the other people, as long as those people give consent. Because another thing we should talk about, it's consent.
Thank you for that. Wakili, what will you say directly, straight to the point? Wewe ni kama wakili na umeng'ara hivi. What will you tell shameless men like those ones?
I was actually going to say, I would say, like, shame on you.
I agree.
Because that's deeply disrespectful. And I don't know if there's any law or you just need to even be castrated at this point.
I like that. Yes, I like that we are serious about this particular topic, and we need to be serious about it. Unajua, isi kitu ya kucheka na kusema ha ha ha. It's not. It's straight up harassment. Now, in Studio B, I'm still joined by my colleague Brian Amwai. Brian, kama unaweza nisikia, what does the next audience have to say about this particular topic? Brian. Yes, so even as you wait for my colleague tueleze pali hako sahi, I'd really like to ask, is sexual harassment different in men and in women? Is there sexual harassment in our society right now? Unajua, kama our colleague here who had mentioned that for men inaonekana kama a plus, sindio? Lakini demu amenikujia, ananitaka huyo lazima kwa ananitaka, right? But for women it's an insult. It's umenionaje, what do I look like, you know? So do you think in your eyes and what you have seen in this country, and especially now as our wakili, do more men report? Can they report? Do they feel shameful because to them it's a reward?
I feel like the problem with men is mostly misinformation, because most of them are not even like rightly guided or rather educated.
Yes.
And actually most men love to say that, you know, mi siwezi consent, ama eti like me too naweza kubali. And I actually love to argue that point, because I'm like, at some point you don't want to. It's not always a yes for you. Yeah, so the main difference between men and women in terms of sexual harassment is just how it shows up.
Yeah.
It shows up differently in both men and women.
Of course, yeah.
And also there's a lot of stigma surrounding men's sexual assault, so they minimize it.
Oh, so
because even within their peers and within their groups, like utaambiwa, ai, msichana ulimkataa. Aje. And now you feel like, and also within the peers between men, they peer pressure each other. Like, msichana mchukue, you get like that. And at times most men don't even want to, but due to the pressure they feel like they have to, and they just minimize the whole feeling. No, but as for women, we take note of these things, and even when we are talking between ourselves, we become vulnerable. We express our thoughts, tunaambiana, we share among friends things that make us uncomfortable. So the space is more friendly. Yeah.
So thank you for that, Mary. We will jump right after you, after we just speak to Brian Amuai, who is in Studio B, and we'll just get back to your next question, and then we come back to our audience as well. Brian Amuai, are you ready? And what are your people on your side saying?
Of course, Charlotte, we are ready on this other side, and of course, kuna vijana wanne hapa. What you're doing is having this conversation on issue to do with sexual harassment, and there's something interesting in regards to one of the comment nimesomwa hapo hewani. Mtu alikuwa anasema alikuwa ana deliver stuff because yeye ni boda rider, akafika pale akapata client wake alikuwa amevalia night dress, alafu akaanza kukua touchy, akona kai sexual harassment. There's a comment that was made here as far as that is concerned, and I just want us to listen to that. Ulisema nini baba?
So when it comes to that, I feel like, you see, that is a couple, unaona. And
we alikuwa rider.
I feel like hapo unafaa you could just take advantage of it, because utakosa kunini hapo, then utaenda kuharass wengine wenye hawataki. So you better, we kama rider, you can choose to either fulfill, but now that comes from your point of view, vile uta handle your situation. Pia ina apply na vile huyo mtu anakaa, unaona.
Okay, niko nauliza mtu wewe kama share experience sexual harassment ama environment yako yoyote?
Definitely in one way or another kuna penye tu umepatana na sexual harassment. Because now tukisema sexual harassment tunamaanisha anything that makes me feel uncomfortable whenever msee ame direct towards me. But then kuna this stuff yenye madem hukuja tu, like girls love it actually a lot, na anatoka tu na huko anakuja amekugonga tu on your back, unaona, which I don't think it is
on your back wapi mgongo
zisiko hizo mafru whatever. That one yo iko.
Only feel aje after mtu amekuguza?
Si unachoka tu unaboeka, then you'll have to cope with the situation and maybe warn the person, umwambie manze tusifikishane hapo. I don't take that as a yes.
Oh, you don't take that as a yes, because despite you kwa chalice.
You know anasemanga where your respect ends, my dignity ama another person's dignity begins there.
Where your respect ends, another person's dignity begins. That's important. Michelle, una believe my boys wanaweza face sexual harassment?
Definitely yes. Definitely. Assaulted. Sisi magirls peke yake. But the problem is, for like, okay, nimepiga survey, kama for my friend Vicky, and I find it's fun because for instance the boda rider ameenda, no, him in his perspective anasema the guy anafaa aichukulie kama jackpot or something of sorts, of which sasa ndio maana I'm saying what I'm trying to put out ni from a boy, some wanaiona ni kaa kitu kaa fun, wanaona kama ni fun, of which it's wrong. And still I feel
bona maboy wanafanya fun
from his comment venye amesema, from Kenya amesema the boda rider should do, like nimefeel like ameona nikaa kitu tu fun, so unachukulia kaa nisikia yangu leo nimeangukia shwa, tunaenda nayo, nenda na flow. Yeah,
ni fun.
Mimi ningesema I'd like to tell Michelle that opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Unacheki? So boda rider maybe kuna place any other place ana struggle kukatia dem flani sijui nini, unaona, and maybe actually anatumia a lot of effort yenye hapa hakuna effort inatumika, unaona. So at least unafaa kuangalia some things zenye unafaa ku consider then for you to choose kama utaenda nayo, unaona. So you know, ule ni boda rider by the way. So also sex as it is ni maybe tunaweza ita a need for him, unaona, kuliko aende harass watu wengine huko nje anze kufanya mambo yenye it's incredible. Yeah. Take the opportunity, unaona. Actually manze hii imekuja penye bana, utawahi pata kayo wapi?
Wewe ni engage Robinson Robinson sasa.
Sana.
Wewe usha experience sexual harassment?
Sijai experience sexual harassment. Yeah.
But how do you understand it personally?
Personally, I think girls ndo wanakuanga most affected na sexual harassment by the kati watu wanawakat call vitu kama hizo. But for boys being sexually harassed, the chances are very low. Yeah, unless sasa other boys sexually harass you.
Okay, how you never describe in what other way that unaweza sema by the way other boys actually do harass other men?
For one, boys waanze kukuita like you're handsome. That's not something a boy should tell you.
Usiwezi yona ngani compliment?
No. I prefer girls wakiniambia I'm handsome.
So mdemo akikwambia you are handsome utaangalia hiyo ni kind of sexual harassment?
Yes.
Lakini boy akikwambia by the way you are handsome unaona by the way hii ni sexual harassment?
Yeah. Kwa sababu what are the intentions ya boy kuniambia I'm handsome? He cannot just be nice.
Ushaiambiwa hivyo na boy?
Nishaiambiwa hivyo na boy.
Ukariactaje?
Nilimwambia keep away from me because that is very awkward.
Oh, it is awkward.
Yeah.
You find it very offensive?
Yes, I find it very offensive.
Okay. Acha niongee na darling kabla nikuje kwako nijue sexual harassment kwa vipi to what extent. Darling, how are you?
I'm fine.
Asante. Sexual harassment. Where am I? Share experience her?
Yeah, lots of times.
Lots of times. Nini yo happen?
Most of the time inaweza kuwa I've dressed up nicely, I'm just going out by myself, upite like these stages, upate watu wa boda boda, they're like hi I'm super, they start gripping your back, some even touch you and then you're like no, keep your hands away from me, and they're like some unajifanya sijui nini, they start calling you names and I'm like really, do you really have to go through these lengths? Just approach a girl. Yeah.
Do you find it offensive, and what reaction do you normally have personally?
For me personally, I usually just, my first instinct is usually fight.
Okay.
Fight. So but I'm very, I hold back. So I usually just tell them no, being assertive. Yeah.
And I'd like to ask, because tumeongea na Robinson, in terms of maboy who face sexual harassment, do you believe that maboys pia wanaweza face sexual harassment?
Yeah, I think they can.
Have you ever had a friend that went through that?
Not really, but I've heard of stories where the guy could be maybe young, but they could be approached by an older lady. Yeah.
What should be the reaction to that? Chalia kabisa kuna mama zamani anasema vile na kule kijana na approach ndio.
I feel
take advantage.
Yeah. I think they shouldn't like cooperate with them. They should take a stand and know their self-worth. Yeah.
Obviously, mama zake kwa approach. Nadu. Sasa kuna hali. Kuna gari kubwa anakwambia
you know, opportunity comes once.
So, kama hiyo ni harassment by the way?
No, that's not harassment.
Why?
Because she's female.
Okay, so when it comes to it, when it's coming from a woman, okay, demo akikuapproach anikwambia by the way nakutaka ama ndikukupatia compliments, so hiyo ni sawa, si ndio?
Hiyo ni sawa.
Na kama uko idha?
Kasi uko idha, I'll just let her know. Yeah, and if she keeps on pursuing me, then that becomes sexual harassment.
Oh, so I keep on pursuing you, then you say, by the way, now you're crossing the line.
Yes.
Okay. You've never faced sexual harassment from a woman, right?
Yeah, I've never faced sexual harassment from a woman.
But would you say you said you faced it from a guy, though?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's look at it in this format. Moving forward, moving forward, pole. Unataka ukwe like operational ikwe aje? Unaona tuseme dema amekuwa approach kama chali anaanza kukutusi. Kwanza ni matusi gani wewe experience unaambia?
Ninaweza ambiwa kitu ka you are weak because you are light skins like should are not manly or things like that.
Mwambie hivyo?
Nishaambia hivyo.
Unafilaje?
I think in a low self-esteem. Yes.
Do you believe statements are only true?
No, I have high self-esteem and it will take more than just words to lower my self-esteem.
Okay. So, Robinson anadai jueni light skin anakuwa harassed because yeye ni light skin. Unasikia anaambiwa jueni light skin by the way ufai kuwa unaangalia madem kama una ndevu wewe si mwanaume. And hii inatoka kwa madem. Inatoka kwa madem na maboy ama ni madem peke yake?
Both actually.
Both. Yes. Well, Michelle, can you do that?
Personally, no, I can't do that. But again, I feel like for someone to tell you are light skin, I feel inakamingi mostly from men. It's not easy. It's not easy upate dem anakwambia, oh, wewe ni light skin so you are gay. It's not easy. Maybe okay 1, 2, but rarely. But for him to be told, oh, you are light skin so you are gay, it comes from men. Yeah.
Are light skinned men weak according to you?
No, they are not weak.
Would you date a light skinned man?
Definitely yes. If I get the chance, I go with the flow.
All right, just one comment before I take a break. Robinson akona concerns kubwa. Anasema yeye bedha amekuwa harassed hapa na pale. How do we end that from your perspective?
The fact that I'm not light skinned. Namhurumia sana since now. That comes from the people around him, na watu wako in his environment, Me, my friends utapata most of them or even all of them light skin, So I think maybe hata ni yeye alikosea tu mtu akaona tu
Sasa wewe unaanza ku shift blame bana na yeye ni victim. Mbona una shift blame?
Like mbona uweke kwa roho, unaona?
Usiache feel offended.
Mtafutie comeback pia unacheki. If at all yani mweusi, you should know what to reply, unaona? You should normally have answers to every question asked or compliment given.
So if you are in his position, wewe ungefanya?
Niambiwa mimi ni light skin.
Alafu wasema ni light skin ufai kuangalia madem.
Sana nataka aje juu mimi ni light skin.
Okay. Right, on that particular note we do want to take a break here on the Gen Z Manifesto. The question of the day tulikuwa nauliza, wewe kama Gen Z ushai experience sexual harassment? Wewe kama Gen Z ushai experience sexual harassment? You know, get in touch with us, social media platforms zetu, and of course Sky24 TV across all social media platforms. Of course pia kuna WhatsApp number, you can send your feedback on that particular channel and tutakuwa na sample hizo feedback tukiendelea. Tunasema wewe kama Gen Z ushai experience sexual harassment? On that particular note tunachukua break. We'll be back in a few.
made for fun. K24.digital brings you 24/7 entertainment. From the pitch to the playlist, from celebrity gossip to the memes you love. We're not just news, we're your non-stop ticket to everything cool and trending. So get in the know. K24.digital. Follow the buzz 247.
Mtumaini Bwana kwa moyo wako wote, wala usitegemee ufahamu wako mwenyewe. Katika njia zako zote mtambue, naye atazielekeza njia zako. Mithali sura ya 3 mstari wa 5 hadi wa 6.
Ili kuset Mtumaini Bwana kama skiza tune yako, dial *811 *618#.
Uko ready kuwa entertain? Go TV inakupa more shows. Juu wewe ni wetu.
That's right.
More movies.
Yes.
More cartoons za watoi.
Of course.
Na more futa.
No doubt about it.
Habari ndio hiyo. Tunakupatia more.
Girl, that is so true.
Exactly. Lipia package yako tuko upgrade to the next package on us.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Apostle Teresia Jenga na kanitha wa Synagogue of Hope Kasarani mena gikono magikutira crusade nene haria Githurai 45 roundabout ni tariki 29 January ginyagia tariki 1 mweri wa kere mwaka uyu. Kigosho gigitongorio ni Martin wa Janet and the band. Ainita Joyce Irogo na age aige. Naguo muthenya wa kiumia nitukarugia ibada ya gikoyo kuma thaa 5 nginya thaa 8. Kuma thaa 9 tukorwo live Kameme TV roundabout ni ya Githurai 45. Ukinyitwo geni orege ni Apostle Teresia Jenga. Nitucemanie na ukena tworafa.
We're kicking your year off in all her glory. With more, because we got you.
You get it?
We got kicks. We got scores. We got action. We got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama. We got fun. We got more for everyone. With an upgrade on us, just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
We got you.
DSTV, we got you all the way.
True understanding requires more than a headline. The People Daily app delivers our trusted in-depth journalism directly to you. Get comprehensive reporting, insightful political analyses and special features optimized for your life on the go. Get the stories that deserve your attention wherever you are. The People Daily app. News that moves with you.
Friday tariki 3 January kanitha wa Blessed Nations Assembly Membly OJ uliotongoragio ni Reverend Benson Muya Blessed ni maragwitira Kigosho Live Friday kesha live on Kameme TV utuko thaa 1 nginya riũa rĩrathe. Kigosho Live Friday kesha ikagoshithio ni Miriam wa Muthũngũ, Lucy Ng'ang'a, Koikoina na Giaigi. Kiugo tuheo ni Reverend Benson Blessed, now Revival Ministers. Kigosho Live Friday kesha tubagaritio Mathai Supermarket na Mary Point Holiday Homes. Kesha ni Friday no January tariki 3.
Muthenya mwega umenyekanaga riũa rĩkiuma ngo-inĩ na ũngĩkorwo na mũtirithania mwega noguo muthenya waku uthakaraga na ukagirira. Na nikio guku gwa Kameme TV turitirithanagia nawe kwagirithia muthenya waku.
Nanie Mobi wa Shege.
Njĩtagwo Kĩmani wa Ngũnjiri.
Na niĩ Njoroge wa Kĩmani.
Atunyitanire ithuothe niĩ Maina Kĩhumo.
O muthenya wa Jumaine nginya wa Gatano kwambĩrĩria thinacara cia kĩroko nginya thaa 4 cia rũcinĩ.
welcome back to the Gen Z Manifesto as we get to deliberate and discuss this particular topic of sexual harassment. Again, I try and ask over and over again, have you ever experienced sexual harassment as a Gen Z? Wewe kama Gen Z ushawahi experience sexual harassment? And as we have seen, sexual harassment goes beyond just rape. It is so many other things. And as we are getting so much feedback from our audience, I'd like to read some of them just slowly but surely. Robertson anasema, a guy, mtu wa boda boda, in brackets, tried to harass my cousin for sex. Fortunately, I was near the place she was heading, had her voice crying. I shot him on thigh, burned his bike, lesson learned. Kwa tutakuja tuulizane, tubomoe watu? That is the question that we're asking. Robertson, thank you so much for your feedback. The next person on my feed, kwenye wanakuja online wanasema ya kwamba we have Evans Mess kutoka Nanyuki anasema kutoka Nanyuki nimewahi kujipata kwa tendo but nilitoroka. Please wadada tuokoke vizuri. Evans jamani, uliondokea nini exactly? Tuambie ya nini, usiseme tu hivyo direct. Na nakubaliana tuokoke, ni ukweli, lakini Evans. Mehesh Ndaba anasema, regarding of the topic, I have experienced it though, a boy child. It's a bit difficult to understand if it's harassment or intimacy. I think that's a good one because men might think, is this an opportunity to be intimate with this particular person? Na wanawake wanaona this is an insult. We have Eden mwenye anasema, while I was a young boy, I was sexually harassed by an older girl. She used to force to make love with her. Now, I like the fact that we've been able to get so much feedback from men as well. So we do agree that this is just not a manly issue. This is an issue that cuts across society. Now, Wakili and Mary, as we jump in right over to you, we've just heard from Brian and Studio B, walikuwa hapo, and one person say, chukua opportunity, aujui siku itakuja tena, right? What do you think of that as Mary and what you have done so far? What do you think of that?
I think for that is they're giving their consent. Something, an advancement was done to them and they gave their consent because for them they're like, they don't know when next they'll get that opportunity. Yes. But hiyo haimaanishi they reverse the role to another person, because you see it's about them. When the advancement was made, wakaona twende now and they gave the consent. But you see, to some people, even to some men, they don't give consent. So the issue with sexual harassment, consent has to be given. And sometimes it's verbally. When someone tells you no, respect that. Like, don't cross that line. The shida inakujanga ni, you have made the advancement, someone has told you no, and then now in retaliation unaambia kitu mbaya ama unamtusi ama you continue. That's the problem.
Let me just interrupt you a bit and just answer this yes or no. Do you think the introduction and the normalcy of pornography in our society has normalized that we are numb? You know, what you see online, you want to replicate here kwa ground. Unaambia msichana kuja hapa nikushike, unajua, na unafikiria in reality that is the expectant. So do you think that with pornography in our music, in our video games, in even our movies, is being forced to a generation, so we become a bit numb to that? Is because umesema yake ni consent. Kwa wasichana, that is an insult. So what do you think, even as you jump right in, then we go to Wakili?
Yes, I think media plays a very big role in how we portray ourselves, and it's important for people to understand as much as you can make an advancement to someone na itikie, but they can take consent, can be withdrawn.
I agree.
Even if umefika to a point where like kan kutamba kanatamba, if someone says no, it's up to us to learn to respect that. And my message tonight is to whoever person you're making advances and your advances zinakataliwa, respect that.
Yes.
Because unaweza jipata kwa koti, wakili atakupeleka mbele na atakukimbiza. And also another thing, it's about, doesn't mean wewe ni mtu like you are easy to go with something, someone else will be easy to go with something. Now the time advances zako zimekataliwa, that's not an invitation for you to be abusive.
Yes.
And another thing before we go to Akili, I think also the whole sexual harassment and sexual assault is systematic. Like last year during Gen Z maandamano, you remember venye zilikuwa zimeshika wanawake walikuwa wametokea. What did the people, whoever did that,
they use sexual harassment and sexual assault because it's still political, so everything affects us holistically.
Come on.
Yes, and I feel it gets to that point where we need to have discussions with ourselves and think, hata usifikiria ati ni dada ya mtu ama mama ya mtu, huyu ni mtu, na akikwambia hataki.
Full stop.
You have heard the man wakisema, there are times they don't love to be spanked. But there are some men who don't love to be spanked and they call women out. But when they start, when roles are reversed, ni kama anataka. Kama mtu amevaa minisketi, ni kama they are calling it, they invite, dress code. My dress, my choice, and dress code does not call for invitation. But unfortunately our society has normalized it to a point where as a woman, lazima ukitoka kwa nyumba sometimes ufikirie, nitakuwa na Uber ama nitakuwa na,
of course,
natumia matatu. Kama ni matatu, I think how I'm going to dress, and that shouldn't be the state.
Thank you, Mary. I'd like to just interrupt you, but you're coming right back to you. Wakili, what do you have to say about this, Studio B, and what you do?
I feel like the problem with that statement for me personally is scarcity mindset, because this one woman who you've gone in line of duty, you are working, you're a rider, you've taken a delivery, and she offers sex, you can just say no. But now if you think like, oh, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, I can, like, there are billions and billions of women, like there must be one for you at least.
Absolutely.
And also misinformation and not being educated, because there's a difference between coercion and consent.
Oh, I like that.
So coercion is basically boundary pushing. Like if I say no, then you continue pressing and pressing, and you push me to a corner, and now I'm like, okay, yes, I can do this. That is being coerced to have sex. And in that situation, you aren't thinking you are gonna go for sexual favors, you are simply working. And the fact that you think it won't ever, like you won't ever be in that situation again, is not even consent, because you don't want it. You're doing it simply because you think you'll never get another opportunity.
Quote,
And in line with that, I would also love to welcome all the men, because now at SF we are building SRHR course, which will be available in April. So you guys can join. It will be easily accessible and affordable, so you can get educated, because it's important for you to actually grasp the knowledge on consent, on sexual assault, on your bodies, on sexuality, so that you can make informed choices.
Thank you so much, Wakili and Mary. We'll jump right at you. But we want to go back to Brian, who is with our audience, our lovely audience, which is engaging with them. Brian, what is our audience actually saying after that statement you had in Studio V? Ni stories za jaba, ni opportunity. What are they actually saying?
Of course, pale nje ilikuwa most of the time we'll look at it na tunasema it's a great opportunity, so kama imekuja yenyewe, why should I lose that opportunity niende nianze kuharass mtu mwingine, and yet naweza take advantage of this particular situation and do what I have to do. But nimesikia Mary pale anasema that is consent, because once someone approaches you, ukishakubali hatuwezi sasa kuanza kuilabel harassment kama baadhi umesema it's okay to actually take that particular direction. And something else that umesikia ikikuwa mentioned ni that when a woman dresses a miniskirt, you normally say my dress, my choice and all that. To some extent hiyo ni inviting, but sasa kwa matali sijui nini nakwanga inviting. Wacha nianze na wewe kabla nikuja hapa mbele. Boy anafanya nini ndio invite sexual harassment to some extent?
Boy anafanya nini?
Because dem atasema nilikuwa watu watasema dem alikuwa amevaa miniskirt, so to some extent inaonekana kani ana invite whatever society tata kumtreat like. Boy anadu
off the top of my head kuna venye unaweza kuna venye unaweza vaa ataka umevaa hizi, kuna watu wao shorts tight lakini si like wanachezea team ya forex like hao kwa tu sawa but like amevaa tu like venye tu msema amevaa ama the situation you are in, maybe umeenda sherehe mahali mko mahali alafu msea ameona by the way kama msea kwa hapa nimempenda, alafu yeye ajui atakushoaje na kupenda. Unajua kuna venye madem wengine hawajui ku approach mtu amwambie manze na kudai, so labda yeye ataenda towards that direction ya ku act on it immediately. Alafu pia kuna most cases za maboy unapata wanakuanga underage, so unapata ni mse amekuwa assaulted by an uncle, amekuwa assaulted by a teacher, like you always jua what's calling into it. Ni mtu wako tu na shida zake tu.
Right. Nataka nikija hapa mbele, kwa mic, uko na mic? Yeah, so wacha nianze na wewe. Experience yako ya sexual harassment imekuwaje?
For me, I feel like it's something that happens every day, especially for commuters. So unaweza pata hapo kwa stage, wewe umetoka tu vizuri, umevaa fiti, unataka kwenda kazi or wherever you're going, and then you find a group of guys who are the matatu drivers and also pia makanga. If they want you to get into their car, wanakuja wanakushikilia mabega, wanajaribu kudrag. I feel like that for me is harassment. And at that juncture inakuanga very nerve-wracking kwa sababu let's say if he puts his hand around my shoulder and then I remove it or I become aggressive, anaweza pia akuwa aggressive anze kukutusi. So it's very nerve-wracking. Unaweza opt kutoa mkono akuharass further, or unaweza amua ku just like pick your battle, just play it cool until you get to where you're getting without causing a fuss, but still yo uharibu siku yako sana.
So, experience hivi useme experience leo, experience kesho, like unakuwa traumatized in terms of kila time ukienda kupanda matatu?
Yeah, obviously utakuwa traumatized, and especially if you have to go, like if you don't have any other option, lazima upitie kwa hiyo stage, lazima upande hiyo mat. Lazima ujiprepare mentally, uscout uone ni nani anakukaribia, utafute route ingine. So it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but how the society is structured imeifanya ikue kitu normal. And for us, especially ladies, now we have to come up with coping mechanisms or prepare yourself mentally before you go to a certain place because you expect them to behave a certain way.
Okay. Meg, chukua mic. Meg, tumeambiwa normalize sexual harassment. Assessment yako ni? Normalize sexual harassment. Have you ever been sexually harassed?
At some point, yes.
Nini happen?
It's somehow close to what she has said. Now our makangas, like the way they always harass people, like umenda tu wako tu zako you're going to board where you're going, and then wanaanza tu kukushikashika, and then ukiwakataza they always assault you. Wataanza kukutusi, unajifanya vibaya, sijui nini. So me I always choose to keep quiet, to maintain my own peace. I always avoid drama.
You avoid drama
because they always assault you. Wanaweza kuaibisha vibaya.
Aibu kama
like they always assault you kabisa tu.
Okay, so wacha tuangalie solution moving forward. Ni solution gani tunaweza offer kama young people kwa hii conversation ya sexual harassment? Unaona? Ndio wewe unasema by the way spaces za kwenda kuboard matatu zimekuwa very toxic. Hawezi pita pale unless mtu anakutusi, unalazimishwa kuingia mat, au unashikwa mkono by force, unaanza kutusiwa ukikataa hivi. So inafanya mpaka unakuwa traumatized at the end of the day. So solution gani tunaweza anza kuoffer kama young people in this conversation?
According to my own perspective, people should have self-control, like okay, not just men but hata wanawake. Okay. See boys pia wanasema they're being assaulted at some point by women. So like people should have self-control.
People should have self-control.
Yeah.
All right, let me come to you. Nataka solution kutoka kwako in terms of sexual harassment. Sasa tuende kwa aspect ya maboy, because when ni boys you can experience sexual harassment. Kwa tumeongea nawe mchana before, but tulikuwa tunasema how to experience sexual harassment. Let's start with that. What solution from what you've been able to gather? Watu wameongea, mtu anasema by the way mimi nilitwa light skin, kaambiwa by the way sifai kukata madem. So ni solution gani tunaweza kupa kama vijana?
Kwanza nimenotice ni vijana ndio wana harass. Jua nini? Yo low ego, wakuna ego low. Kuna watu wengine ego yao.
Eka mic kwa mdomo.
Okay. Ego yao iko so low, wanaona.
Ishika hapo chini. Yeah, hivyo.
Wanaona ego yao iko so low, heri wa harass at least boost kuja wasikie wame at least wametoka na kakitu.
So unasema vijana ndio wanafanya harassment?
Most hivyo ndo hadi
hiyo ndio assessment yako?
Yeah.
Na wakifanya vijana wanafanya harassment, ego yao iko low. So wanataka kuboost ego na harassment.
Hivyo ndo tu nimeona mimi. Okay. At my solution ni just kwanza ukae chini ujione the other person venye yako. Reaction yake kama amekupatia uende go ahead akikataa just maintain.
Na sisi hapa regards to sexual harassment here in the country, now what you've been able to have as your personal experiences, very insightful. Thank you so much. Charlotte, take it over. Thank you so much, by the way, much appreciated. Shukran sana.
Asante sana to our lovely audience who have given us amazing feedbacks, and I thank you for the realness, because that's what we are looking for. We're not looking for uko tu inje statistics, but because these statistics are real numbers, real people every single day. I'd like to actually just jump and have our final conclusion from our panelist who has given us a good insight. Wamama oye. Yes. Mary, I'm going to jump to you and then we jump right to Akili. What is your final statement to this particular topic? What about sexual harassment? What is it exactly?
Consent can be given and it can be taken. Another thing is respect people's boundaries. A no is a no, a yes is a yes. And if you say it na kifua yako. Another thing is be an active bystander. Ukiona someone is being harassed, ebu ingililia hapo sema piga nduru. Like it needs to get to that point where we shame them. Yeah. Because they are doing it, they are harassing people, and I'm not saying it's only men who are doing it. Absolutely. Because there are women who are doing it. Yeah. Like it's the perpetrators. We need to get to a point we call them out. And also like another thing is call our friends out. Some things come from subtle comments here and there. Yeah. And if you are keen enough, you can already tell who you ubenyanaendelea kusema tu kweli, they can't take an offer. No, like let's start holding our friends accountable. And another thing, if you're in campus, look out campus me to work, the good work they are doing, join them. They're in different institutions, and yeah, let's make our institutions of higher learning safe for all students.
Thank you so much. I like that you've said it's both genders, si tu wanawake peke yao. Thank you so much, Mary Wanjiru, for joining us tonight. Wakili, do you mind closing us out?
Yes. So, sexual harassment is given room to escalate to sexual assault because there are no real consequences on the ground, like not online, on the ground. So, as she has said, the next time you are in town, you see a conductor harassing a woman, call him out, tell him it's wrong. Or you're in campus, or you're in school, or anywhere you are, make sure to call out that trait, because not only is it immoral, it is also unconstitutional and, to be honest, deeply humiliating to the survivor. And thank you so much for having me. And also you can find us at Sumaya Foundation on all social media all social media handles. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your insights, first of all, as young women in this space. And number two, even as what you guys are doing in your different scopes of life. I just want to ask, even as we finish out, and I know you guys have already said the closing statements, but if the statement that we think that catcalling, quote unquote, that we have seen, size yangu, ukipita hapo, si ndio? Ama usiponikubali, hata wewe si size yangu tena. Unajua sasa unashangaa, what is this? Mary, what do you have to say of that? Because you have talked about coercion and the access that you have to accept it. Is catcalling sexual harassment, or should women just accept it? Wasema, sisi tunawaambia kitu mzuri. Unajua, what do you have to say at that?
Catcalling is actually a form of verbal sexual harassment. Namanze, GK comments, like you can shower those comments to the people who want. Just let people be.
So nikitembea usiniambie chochote.
Awachana tu na mtu. So like hata kila mtu, si hata yeye kuna mtu wao anaweza ambiwa na watu wao. wewe kwani una offer kwenda kuambia watu? Na the minute someone tells you no, you're there abusing them, because you see in the first place it was like an invitation for them. You wanted them to reciprocate in a certain way. When they don't do that, that's when the matusi inaingililia. So in the first place, the whole idea was to shame this person, ama kuona ego yako, like it's an ego something, like let's just stop it, like kana comments zako, because sometimes if you keep your own comments, nitembe niende hautaniharibia siku, but mimi jaribu ni cat call, utaniona. Mimi I learned from a very young age, nimetoka D. So I learned being catcalled from a very young age, so that nisibiwe, nisifanywe nini. I've gotten to that point, jaribu watu wa kwenyu utaenda kuwatangazia. It gets to that point, you call people out na waibisha, so that next time they think about opening their mouth to catcall someone, irrespective of a man or a woman, unaambia tu mpaka wanaenda, like they just keep quiet. Like we need to get to that point we stand up, because I stand up, it will encourage someone else to stand up, someone else will stand up, and this thing will itaisha.
Do you think, even as you just jump right in, tukipata kwa barabara, si ndio? Ama let's say I'm walking in town, mtu aseme Charlotte, you know, okay, hawezi jua jina yetu, but sema waniite, aseme wewe ni mrembo, ama aseme size yangu wewe kuchukua wewe, ama wanishike hivi na nikate kuingia, right? And I have fellow people around me. Can we say that we can actually come together and come against that? Because what I've realized, we give people power when we keep quiet, right? What do you think of that, Wakili, as we finish off?
So I would like to give a more psychological perspective on that point. So this is what happens when sexual harassment is either minimized or silenced. So it affects the survivor and the perpetrator differently. As for the survivor, once you're sexually harassed and you keep quiet, your body acknowledges that speaking up is not safe enough. And now your nervous system, which is wired to keep you safe, tries to navigate this feeling, so it freezes or it dissociates, and it forces you to be silent. So silence is a byproduct of survival response, and to the perpetrator, the silence is now an invitation. So the acts are only gonna enhance. So one time is gonna catcall one random person, you keep quiet. The next time is gonna get confident and now grope someone, and the habit is gonna escalate.
Thank you so much, Wakili. And we are so excited and we are very happy when we have honest and raw conversations. Nataka kusema asante sana to everyone who has come here today and given us their feedback and even your real life stories. Sometimes it's not easy to say those things that were done to you when you were young, right? It's sometimes very, very difficult and very hurtful to actually remember these things. And as I remind you, the topic for today was wewe kama Gen Z, ushawahi experience sexual harassment? You as a young person in this country, you as a Gen Z, have you ever experienced sexual harassment in this country? And I'd just like to throw a bit of our feedback from Embu. When I was young, I was sexually harassed by a friend of my bro when my bro was away, simply because I had tits in the name of mimi ni mtu mkubwa, right? When we grow up and we have developed and someone is like, umekuwa mtu mkubwa sasa unahitaji kushikwa. What type of shame is that? Surely. Joanna amesema, when I was a child, I was insulted and sexually harassed by a friend of my brother. I think so many young women and men have also been sexually harassed by so many people when they were young. Jose anasema, I have been forced by neighbor in the sake that ako na kutu. What type of nonsense is that? Nonsense to its core. And we shall not be able to accept such circumstances in this country if we all keep quiet. So tonight's conversation does not end here. It continues with you in your workplaces, in your friendship circles, and in the choices that you make every single day. We are so grateful for the feedback that we have had and the difficult even conversation that we ought and need to have, because we have normalized this conversation in our country. Kushikwa si kitu kubwa, wewe umekuwa msichana mkubwa, umemea wewe, si ndio? We've had all these conversations having in, and we're super grateful for having you. So what I can say is, let's continue speaking up, let's keep challenging harmful behavior, let's keep choosing respect, honor and dignity, because I do believe
Kameme TV, muthegi wa ruriri.
Hihi wina kĩũria kana woni wĩgiĩ umemerekia wa Kameme TV? Twandĩkĩre woni waku kũhĩtũkĩra Facebook @Kameme TV Kenya, X @Kameme TV Kenya, na twandĩkĩre email kũhĩtũkĩra info@mediamax.co.ke. Kameme TV, muthegi wa rũrĩrĩ.
Apostle Teresia Jenga na kanitha wa Synagogue of Hope Kasarani mena gĩkono magĩgũtĩra crusade nene harĩa Gĩthũrai 45 roundabout nĩ tarĩki 29 Januari nginyagia tarĩki 1 mweri wa kerĩ mwaka ũyũ. Kĩgoco gĩgĩtongorio nĩ Martin wa Janet and the band. Aini ta Joyce Irogo na angĩ aingĩ. Naguo mũthenya wa Kiumia nĩ tũkarogia ibada ya Gĩkũyũ kuma thaa 5 nginya thaa 8. Kuma thaa 9 tũkorwo live Kameme TV roundabout-inĩ ya Gĩthũrai 45. Ũkĩnyitwo ũgeni o rĩngĩ nĩ Apostle Teresia Jenga. Nĩ tũcemanie na ũkena tũraba.
Why wait for fun? K24.digital brings you 24/7 entertainment. From the pitch to the playlist, from celebrity gossip to the memes you love. We're not just news, we're your non-stop ticket to everything cool and trending. So get in the know. K24.digital. Follow the buzz 247.
Uko ready ku entertain? GoTV inakupa more shows. Juu wewe ni wetu.
That's right.
More movies.
Yes.
Jackpot. More cartoons za watoi.
Of course.
Na more futa.
No doubt about it.
Habari ndio hiyo. Tunakupatia more.
Girl, that is so true.
Exactly. Lipia package yako tuko upgrade to the next package on us.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's good to know.
Friday tariki 30 January kanitha wa Blessed Nations Assembly Membly OJ uliotongoragio ni Reverend Benson Muya Blessed ni maragwitira Kĩgoco Live Friday kesha live on Kameme TV utuko thaa 1 nginya riũa rĩrathe. Kĩgoco Live Friday kesha ĩkagocithio ni Miriam wa Mũthũngũ, Lucy Ng'ang'a, Koikoina na angĩ aingĩ. Kiugo tũheo ni Reverend Benson Blessed na Revival Ministers. Kĩgoco Live Friday kesha tubagaritio ni Mathai Supermarket na Mary Point Holiday Homes. Kesha ni Friday no January tariki 30. Kuma Kĩrĩnyaga, Kĩrĩ Biroiro, Kĩanjahĩ, mũtambũrũko wa Nyandarũa, ũrerorera Kameme TV.